Guys, it's Maymay and welcome to Stampin' Saturday. So you would have seen this yesterday in the sneak peek because this is the Stamp of the Month Club that went out to you guys yesterday, to our club members. And I decided I was going to take this stamp set and use it with one of my lesser used stamp sets. And for me, this is one I don't use as often. The reason is it's more for specific occasions like somebody's birthday or what have you. So I'll pull it out for a specific card, but I don't play with it as much. And I thought, you know what? That's crazy. Let's start playing with it and making some cards up in advance. And this stamp set, you're going to use with everything. You just are. So let's get started. So the first thing I've done is cut 2 pieces of cardstock. This one is 4 by 5 1/4. So this is the front of our card mat. And then this little piece here, I'm going to use with this little pennant piece here. This is just a scrap. I want to get this little pennant off of here. So I'm going to stamp it first. And I'm just going to do it in black VersaFine ink. And we're going to cut it out. Just going to fussy cut around it. So I just want to get this image, and I'm going to let it fall off the page just a tiny bit on one edge. So this way I know I've stamped it all the way to the end of the page, just by letting it hang off just a tiny little minuscule amount. So I'm going to fussy cut this right to the inked edge, just like so. So I'm going to take a page from last week's Stampin' Saturday where we did the layered stamping, and we're going to kind of do the same thing. I put a little bit of temporary adhesive on the back, and if you don't have temporary adhesive, just take a piece of sticky tape and then make it not sticky. Like use your finger like this, stick it on your work surface, what have you, and get some of that sticky off, and then just stick your banner piece into place where you like it. Now I'm going to do mine something like that. Now we're going to take the images from our relic stamp set. That's this guy, and we are going to stamp all around it. Now I've gone into my Memento Dewdrop stash. I have 3 sets of these, and I love them so much. And I've picked out these 3 colors. Now I think they will work together, but I want to double check. And this is how I do it. I just take a scrap of paper and I just put the pad lightly on and see if I like that color combination together. I love these 2 together, and I think this will work because it gives me a little bit of dimension here with this darker color. So these colors I'm going to use today are Espresso Truffle, Gray Flannel, and Nautical Blue. I think that'll be cool, and it'll look neat on the card together. All right, now for the fun part. Let's do some stamping. I'm going to start with Gray Flannel. I think that'll be fun. So this is the crosshatch image from that relic stamp set, and I'm going to lay it on and off of our banner piece, just like this, on and off. And I'm going to press it real hard so I can get it to go as close to the page where these meet as I can. So see how I kind of went on and off. Now I'm going to use what's left over of this ink and do the same thing here. A little bit on the banner, and I zoomed in so you could see. So this is 2nd generation, and this is some ink that was off the page that ended up here, and it won't matter because you want this texture and this play of color. So I'm going to ink it again, and I'm going to come back here on this end and on and off our banner, stamp this into place, and then the same here just to get some of this texture. So just playing with that stamp. Now I'm going to get another stamp from our stamp set, which is the little bubbles, not the tiny ones, but the little bigger than that. And again, I'm going to go on and off the banner. I'm kind of making a border on the banner and some images underneath, just like we did last week when we did like the 3-tier. I thought that was really cool, and I think this will look amazing. Okay, so I've got all that, and now I'm going to get another one of those images, and this is the tiny little dots, and I'm going to use a different ink. So that was the navy. Now I'm going to use the Espresso Truffle with the tiny little dots and just bring them anywhere I want them. Now I'm going to do a little 2nd generation stamping with this other image from our stamp set, and I've inked it up in the blue, and I'm going to use some scrap paper and stamp off really good onto one little piece of scrap over here, and what's left on here I'm going to use on my project just to get a little more texture going. I love how that does. It's so cool. And it's in the background and it's in the foreground. It's so cool by using these different colors. Is that amazing how quick that comes together? It amazes me every time. Let's do some second generation with the tiny dot. And you can decide when you want to stop. You can play as long as you want. I just think it is beautiful. Now I want to do a little bit of second generation with the gray flannel because I think it'll be really pretty to kind of break those edges with it. And I'm even going to use a different image. So I've just pulled another image off of the stamp set. I'm going to ink it off or stamp it off onto my scrap paper. And then I'm going to use it here lightly to kind of pull some more of that distress out from our image. But it's so pale. Beautiful. I'm going to stop there. My problem is knowing when to stop. Like I could keep going, but I'm going to stop. Look at this. This even looks good like on our paper. There's no telling what you can do with this stamp set. So cool. All right, now I'm going to take this off of here. Remember, we just temporarily adhered this down. And I'm going to stamp this with a sentiment and I'm going to lift it up here. I think that'll be cool to have that dimension. So let me decide what I'm putting on there. So from that stamp set where I got the little banner piece from, that stamp set is called Happy. I'm going to use the word happy and stamp it kind of high at the top. And then I'm going to use the word everything underneath it. Now, if you're not real confident in your sentiment stamping, you might want to go ahead and do your sentiment stamping first and make sure you've got your words like you want them before you spend all the time doing the texture stamping, because if you mess up at this point, you won't be able to match anything back up. You won't be able to do this same, you know, matchy stamping again. But look how pretty that is. You could always just stamp right in there. Then I'm just going to line this back up and mount it right where it lines up with our stamping. But now it is lifted. Oh, that is really cool. All right, I'm going to bring it up for you to see it. So see, now when you look to the side, it's lifted up and it's got some dimension in the middle. So I am loving navy cardstock lately. It's just, I want to do everything in navy. And this is some of that beautiful Nina, the Navy Textures cardstock. I just love it. I'll link it with all my supplies below. So if you're looking for anything, there'll be links so you can find what I'm using today. I crease this guy down like so. And he's ready for our card front. Isn't that pretty? I love it. But I want to show you, a lot of people ask me, when you use these dark card bases, what do you do on the inside? Let's make an inside piece as well. So now back to all of our little distressed images, which is just an excuse for me to get to keep playing with them, right? That's how I feel about it because I think they're so fun. I've taken a piece of white cardstock that is 4 by 5 1/4, so it's the matte size. I've stamped off, and now I'm just going to ink around the edges of this card, just along the bottom for some texture. Just being sure to use all 3 colors. I love this crosshatchy. I want to make sure I get that on there. So a little bit of second generation. So just a little bit at the bottom. See how I did that? Just for something on the inside of the card. Now we can bring the card back over and glue this to the inside. And then you have plenty of room to write, or if you want to stamp another sentiment inside. This card, what I like to do, especially early in the year when I'm making cards, is leave them generic enough on the front or neutral enough so that I can have them in my stash, and no matter what I need a card for, I can grab it. And so since this one says happy everything, anything, any situation that I need a card for, I'll be able to add a sentiment or just do a handwritten note on the inside. Isn't that pretty? I like that. So there you go, guys, Stampin' Saturday. How super fun. And taking that same technique we did last week and just kind of using it in a different way. And oh my goodness, this relic stamp set is going to be, you're going to get sick of seeing it, because I bet I use this in every single thing I do. And we haven't even scratched the surface of it. There's so many things it can do. So I'm excited about that. And I'll leave the links to everything below, but look how cool that looks. I just love it. Thanks so much for watching Stampin' Saturday. Talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye.